Hey everyone, welcome back to my DevOps Home Lab series. This is episode 8, and if you are learning something new or you want your projects to never get lost again, like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep building this community of hands on engineers. When I first started coding and building servers, I had multiple folders mess on my machine. For example, project, final, project, final 1, project, final 2. I lost so much work, overwrote files, and almost cried more than once. Then I learned about Git. So, what is Git? It is a version control system. Okay, version control system. Suddenly, I could break break things, fix them, and always go back. Okay, total game changer. Today, I'll show you how to set up Git in your home lab, connect to GitHub, and version your scripts like a pro. So, you might have a question, why do we need Git Arbaz? Okay, I would say Git is safety net for every engineer. Okay, I will give you a real world example. For example, if you are working on your server and you try to run 100 commands on your server, will you be able to remember all those commands, or will you be able to remember what was the 55th command which you wrote? I mean, there are ways to get the history, but in the real production environments it's not possible, and you will do a lot of different stuff. It is very hard to remember what you did today morning. You ran 100 commands, and followed by in the evening you will run another 500 commands. So this is very hard. So every company, it can be a small company or a large company, everyone will have Git in their projects. So they are doing version control and storing. Every source code is stored in Git. Application code, infrastructure configuration, database configuration, I mean, you name it. There is a lot of useful stuff that you can do as a DevOps engineer, software engineer. This is kind of common across any role you are working on. Git is a must known skill. Okay, what are we going to learn today? So we will install Git. Okay, create local repository, make a few commits, connect to GitHub repo. Okay, we are going to create repository on GitHub repo as well. Okay, and try to push all the local code, source code, to the GitHub repository. So how are we going to do this? How? Step by step, all the basics. I wish someone warned me about. Now let's get into the demo. First things first, I'm going to connect to my server, virtual server, which we created in our previous videos. And I will type for git space hyphen hyphen version. It will tell me if Git is like installed on my machine or not. Okay, looks like no such file or directory. You might have a question, how do you know this command will work for installing Git? This is nothing serious. Sudo apt install is nothing but we are trying to install the name of the package and -y. That's it. If you have any more questions, You can go to the GitHub documentation. Here, click on downloads. There are multiple options: Mac OS, Windows, Linux. You can use any operating system, any machine. I'm using Linux, Ubuntu, and I can see this command here: apt-get install git. Okay, there's a lot of information. If you want to go through, you can go through it. This is free. Okay, for my use case and for our video for today, I'm going to follow along what I know and what I prepared. Okay, press enter. So it will install Git for me. It will take a minute. Yeah, this is done. I will clear the screen and let's try to run the git ---- version command once again. Okay, now I see git version 2.43.0. Okay, successfully we installed Git on our machine. The next step: git config ---- global user.name and your name. I will try to write my name. So what are we doing here? So git config is nothing but we are trying to set the configuration of the git. ---- global flag is nothing but apply this setting to all git repositories for this user account on this computer. User.name, this is the specific setting you are changing your git username. For example, Arbaz, this is the value you are setting. This will show up as the author for all your future commits. When I was learning Git, my first repo showed up as unknown author. Not a great look. You can try committing messages, adding commits to the GitHub repository without name, but it doesn't look good like in general. Okay, the next step is like I'm going to follow the same command, git config ---- global user.email. So here I'm going to give my email, my repository email. So I will try to give this email. So for example, okay, I'm going to set this username, the same command, again global user.email. It follows the same. This is done. Okay, we are good with this. Now let me clear the screen. I have the script. I will create a directory name git demo. Okay, and in this directory I will try to move setup.sh script. Okay, move is just the command to move files from one folder to other folder. Okay, now if we go to GitHub demo, I can see my file in this particular folder. Okay, ls is like nothing but these are like kind of basic commands. You can go through. If you don't know anything about this, let me know in the comments. I will try to explain in detail. Not an issue. Followed by, first I'm going to initialize the GitHub repository. Everything whatever we are doing is like locally git initialize. It initialize empty git repository dot git. If you can see ls-a, you will see dot git. Previously we didn't had anything like this. Okay, once this is done, I'm going to use git add command setup.sh. Press enter. Now let's look at the git status command. So if you see here, new file, changes to be committed. Okay, on branch master, no commits yet, changes to be committed, new file setup.sh. Let's do that. Git commit is like the command that we are going to use, followed by -m is like the message, initial commit automation script in double quotes. Press enter. So if you see, master, initial commit automation script, create mode, setup.sh. Now we have created a commit. We added a look to the local file. Now let's go to our github.com. So I will navigate to my github.com. So here I have many repositories. If you don't have any GitHub account, try to create using your email. It is free of cost. Okay, once you log into that, you'll see these kind of options: overview, repositories, projects, packages, stars. Click on new. Click on new. Here I'm going to give git demo, followed by public repository. You want to keep it public or private. I would like to keep private. And there's an option to add a git readme file. Initialize this repository with readme file. Add git ignore file. I'm going to explain, all this stuff in detail in later stages. Click on create repository. So as soon as you create repository, you will see something like this. Okay, start quoting with code spaces. Ignore this stuff. Quick setup. If you've done this kind of thing before, create a new repository on the command line. Okay, you can do this. Git initialize, git add, git commit -m. We did all this stuff. Git initialize, git add, git commit. Okay, now the next steps are like git branch -m main, followed by git remote add origin, or push an existing repository. So in our case, we are going to follow this 3 commands. First, let me add this remote origin. We are saying we are going to trust this repository and we are trying to add this repository to our local repository. Okay, git remote add origin. Press enter, followed by git branch -m main. Okay, git branch, let me clear my screen. Git branch -m main. This command renames your current branch to main. Even if a branch called main already exists, it will override it. Previously we had master branch. I would like to keep it as main. That's why I'm, let's say, renaming it. If you want to stick with that, you can stick with that, not an issue. So once this is like done, the next step is like git push origin main. Okay, let's try to push this. I'm going to push. Let me know in the comments whether it will work or not. Okay, push main. It is asking for username. That means it will not work without the username and password. This is not going to work. So let me quickly grab my username. So I will copy my username, press enter, followed by it is asking for password. So I am going to create a token repositories. Sorry, I'm going to create a token settings, followed by scroll down developer settings, personal access tokens, tokens classic, and generate new token. Okay, give it a note, demo, for example. I would like to use it as a demo. It will expire in 7 days. Repo access scope, select scope. Repo access I need, and admin access I'm going to give. I think this should be enough. Okay, there are, like, let's say, a lot of permissions and stuff. I don't want to go into detail, but for our use case, this is enough. Copy this and paste it here. Press enter. You can see branch main set up to track origin/main. Let's go back to our browser and click on repositories, git demo, and we see our setup.sh script is like on our GitHub repository. We have successfully configured GitHub repository and also pushed source code from our local server to the GitHub repo. If your push fails, don't stress. Double check your remote URL, your credentials, and whether you initialize the repo on GitHub. Google any error you get. Most have simple fixes, and if you get stuck, post in the comments. I'll help you out. Career and interview tip. Almost every DevOps role or software engineer role, you will be asked for Git and branching strategies and lot of stuff. Okay, if you can show real GitHub profile with lab scripts and history, you look way more professional than 90% of other applicants. Okay, Challenge. Challenge for today's episode. Initialize a repo. Commit your first script. Push it to GitHub repo. Try to create a GitHub repository. Try to sign up with your email address. Drop a screenshot in the comments, or just tell me what you learned about version control. What are we going to see in the next episode? Now your projects are safe, versioned with Git. It's time to take your DevOps skills to the next level. Okay? Because in the next episode, we are going to dive into CI/CD with Jenkins. You'll see how to automate your builds, test, and deployments just like real engineering teams do, right inside your home lab. Hit subscribe, like, and get ready to turn your home lab into a real world DevOps playground with powerful automation. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.